So for the past 2 years, the Steel Yard and the Avenue Concept have been working together using these pieces from Kennedy Plaza, and they've been storing the bus route signs, and artists have been contracted to work with the bus route signs to build a sculpture for the platform that's installed.
We really wanted to create something that would speak to both of our interests, even though they were compatible but pretty different. And we also were taking the signs apart and identifying the individual components that made up the shapes. So we started by breaking them down into their geometric components and playing with them and seeing what shapes we could produce.
What we were trying to do is look at the shapes that we had. So it was just a matter of figuring out how to make these connections and manipulations.
Each sort of dissection of the sign, we had to do a little bit of reverse engineering. We'd have to drill out the hardware, pry off the plates, snip out all of the wiring, which was now not working anymore, like break apart the light bulbs. And then we were able to see the underlying structure and find the shapes that we would then sort of harvest out. And we pulled the shapes apart, put them into piles, kind of categorized them.
Once we got the signs into pieces, we saw those shapes and tried to figure out the ways that we could manipulate them, make them look a little different but still familiar. We just built off of it piece by piece. All right, we've got these cool flowers. Now what? They need stems. Okay, now they have stems. Now we need vines and leaves.
We spent a long time grinding, cutting, and we ended up using the saws and the grinders like as carving tools so that we could transform the geometric shapes into organic shapes. All the bends are done by hand. There's no heat bending. We didn't use any tools to bend anything. It's all done by hand.
A lot of that technique is very delicate. There's something about grinding something. Like, anybody can weld, but it takes a true fabricator. It takes an artist to be able to grind something down without going too far and knowing when to stop. Having that delicate touch.
Whenever you make a piece inside of a shop and then bring it to an outdoor environment, it's always a surprise. It always transforms. It always looks a little different than you'd expect.
The flowers are at a perfect height where they're, like, when you look up at the sculpture, the backdrop is the sky. I hope that people can see a little bit of our process in it. I hope that those lollipop signs that we worked with stand out just enough that they can be recognized from their origin back in Kennedy Plaza. And I hope that we did them some justice.